What's going on, film fans? Welcome back to our channel. We are the usual skeptics. Here we are back again. You know, we talk movie reviews, entertainment news, streaming, all that sorts of good stuff. We are back again with The Boys season 3. Better late than never, the finale. And speaking of good things, Wes, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. We're talking about The Boys, which never lets us down. Super excited to talk about this, but also super sad because now it's over and I don't know what to watch. Um, but anyway, man, let's get right into it, dude. I'm super excited about this episode. I think that. Um, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but because we haven't talked about this, and I've been like, you know, sort of crazy wanting to talk to you about it. So I'm super excited we're going to do it. But basically, I loved this episode. I thought that it tied everything in together. There was a lot of surprises, a lot of things that you just, didn't, we had that prediction video, and it's
It was really
like,
fun. That
wow,
was fun.
we were pretty wrong on a lot of things, but we were right on some. R.I.P. Black Noir. Knew it was coming.
Went out like a boss. Went out like a
But
boss. Speaking
dude,
of the
it
boys,
was
yeah, gotta
yeah,
represent.
yeah,
Gotta
gotta
represent.
represent. Yeah, sure.
I dig
So
it. I dig it.
but dude, like just such a good episode all around. From the very get-go, it was just I didn't see anything coming. And Kimiko became my favorite character ever, dude. Whenever she put those
Oh my
earbuds in
god,
and started playing Maniac, I was just like, this is
amazing,
fantastic. Oh, I was fist pumping.
amazing.
I was like, yes, like
Yes,
this is great.
several times through
So,
the episode.
mhm,
Several times. No,
all right.
this episode was fantastic. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to try and make this as quick as possible. We are several days late due to personal reasons. Haven't been able to get on because Wes and I like to do this together. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to. But things should be wrapping up here soon. We'll be able to get back to a more cohesive, structure. That being said, thank you for those who have indulged us for this time, and we do appreciate that. But like we said, we just like to talk about these kinds of things. And but with all that out of the way, yes, I thought this episode was one of the best episodes that they've done. Not going to go far as to say it's the best episode, but dude, it's in at least the top 3. It is in the discussion. This season is, now that it's concluded, is the best season they've ever done. Season 1, awesome. Season 2, even better. Season 3, they're able to top season 2, and I don't know how. What's funny is I never went into the show thinking, give me the greatest thing ever. And they have been. Season 4 comes around. Could be the final season. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. Season 4 could be it. There are some seeds planted that we may or may not see in the future. So we'll just have to see where that goes. We got some spinoff shows coming out. I think it's called Varsity, or I don't know if that's a working title or the actual title. I have no idea, but it basically follows soups that are in the. It's a live action, unlike the diabolical animated show, which is I thought was kind of fun, but is what it is. The Varsity show is going to pick up between now and season 4 and pick up some side stories, and then season 4 is going to take parts of those and bring it into season 4. So there's going to be some connection. I don't know what this was. I was doing a Homelander cow bit there, so ignore me. But no, I think it was one of the greatest episodes they've done. This was just a fun episode. I will say this: I had more enjoyment. I'll go ahead and say it: more enjoyment in this hour of television, if you can call it television anymore, than I did the entire runtime of Thor: Love and Thunder. I have not told you that, but
Yeah.
that is my thought. And we'll talk about Thor: Love and Thunder. That video will be up soon. But just sticking with the boys, that's how much I enjoyed this episode. In just a little hour block of these sub stories coming together and meshing into how we said in the first 3 episode review, how I thought, A-Train story's coming along. I don't know how this is going to work. It's kind of slowing down the overall plot. It came and corrected me, and I'll be the first one, me, being like, yeah, that storyline you were crapping on. Oh yeah, we have a reason for that. And it all came full force. There was just so many duo moments, like whether it was A-Train and his brother, the Deep and Ashley going to talk to Homelander.
Oh, that was
Homelander, but
great.
it was hilarious. He's like, "Oh no, you tell him. I don't want to tell him." Like, it was great.
And then Ashley's like,
Noir.
"Can you shut the
I
up?"
know. She's like, just shut up. You had Noir and Homelander, which Noir didn't even speak, but there was so much dramatic tension that it was literally, you could cut it with a knife. It was there. And that is a character who we never see his face. We never see his face. We never hear him talk, yet he's able to bring that emotion. And there's just Huey, Starlight. There was a moment in there in the beginning of the episode where I kind of got a little emotional with Butcher saying, Homelander, Butcher did what he did to me because he wanted to protect me, and then he started talking about how his dad was, hey, all he had was pizza rolls and whatever. And he was like, it wasn't because he was a crappy parent; it was because that was the best he could do. And there was a lot in there that really hit me emotionally for reasons I can't say, but really touched me um, in a really emotional way. And I thought, my God, we're in for a good episode. So
Hey,
go ahead with your
hey,
thought.
no, no, no. I completely agree with you. Whenever a show like this that's an hour long
Yeah,
can sit there and you can emotionally get attached to it, dude. I'm not even lying. I shed a tear whenever his
dude,
daughter turns to him and turns to Mother's Milk and says, "Well, Daddy, you're my hero,
you're my
bro."
hero.
I was like, "Oh," I was like, you know what I mean? Because that's all you want to hear as a parent.
That's
You
all.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's it. Like, and we're both parents. We both know this. Like that's what you want to hear. And you know, I know your kids think that. I know Declan thinks that of me. It is what it is. But like that just got. I was like, oh man, like I'm. But
right.
such a great episode. And whenever
So
Mother's Milk's
good.
sitting there talking about, and you can tell that he's kind of over it, over that whole thing. And he's like, you know what? I'm not ashamed of this anymore. Let's talk about your grandfather. And he is a real hero. You know what I mean? Just brilliant, brilliant writing, brilliant, just so good.
There was humbleness
Homelander.
there. There was humbleness.
Uh, oh
And
yeah.
with him too, with Homelander too. I mean, just, yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
But Homelander, whenever he's sitting there and you're talking about these things that come together and being an ensemble of like one or two people, whenever he's sitting there and he comes in the room and he's got his hands behind his back and he just lightly puts the they're talking about Black Noir and well, we can use Black Noir, and he just sets his helmet down on top
Oh,
of the thing and he just
great
sits there
scene. Yeah.
and he just looks at him and he goes, they told me whenever I came to do this that I would get, all these people with me and that they, I was hoping that they would be my family. And then I got you.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my
I love
God.
how he did that.
Yeah.
I got you idiots is basically what he was
Yeah,
saying. And
pretty much. And he's
oh
like
my God.
basically breaking them down one by one. Hey, Deep. He was like, was that whenever you effed an octopus? Or, you know what I mean? Like, because he's like, I always stick up for you. And he's like, yeah, was that whenever you
Yeah,
ran
right.
away from Hero Gasm or whenever you, octopus? But, and then he goes to Ashley. He's like, Ashley,
Humiliated
he's like,
her.
take that wig, take the
Yeah.
wig off. And she's like, what wig? And he's like, just gives that look.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't mess with me. And she has to take it off. And he says nothing else. Doesn't tell her to do anything.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't say anything. Doesn't do any of that. That was brilliant. And then he looks at, A-Train and says, how could you kill one of your own? Blah, blah, blah.
And
And
that
even,
hypocrisy in his statement and in his voice, even A-Train's like, and the camera went to him and cut to Noir's helmet, and you can tell just with
oh, yeah.
I can't remember his name. Is it Usher or something? Whoever plays A-Train, but he
Mhm,
was able to deliver that, and I felt that he didn't say a
mhm.
word. A-Train didn't,
He
but
didn't
I
have
felt
to.
it. I felt it, and that's what the actor he portrayed that in his
Oh,
face
yeah.
and his eyes, and it's just like, oh, when he goes and sees his brother. I mean, he did a fantastic job in this episode. But no, that scene with Homelander talking to his team, oh my God, that was
And I
riveting.
think that A-Train, like you said, like we were both kind of, shitting on the whole aspect
We
of
were.
his thing. And now I'm like, oh, I was wrong. I was very
Oh
wrong.
yeah, very quickly. I mean, couple episodes ago, I was like, okay, they're going somewhere. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
this little subplot, but
Hmm.
it comes in and concludes that story even when I thought, oh, A Train's dead. Because that to me was a good stopping point for that character, but obviously they got more for him to do.
Oh, I was
Yeah,
about to say, I think
yeah,
that his arc will be hopefully next season, or, we don't know what's going to happen with that varsity thing. But like I said, like
right.
his arc, I think is just began.
Yeah,
I think it's just begun. Like, I think that, they've got a lot more for him, which is great because he
great.
showed me this last episode, like you said, that he can act very, very well. And speaking about acting and being really, really good, Maeve this episode
She was
was
my favorite part. My favorite I don't know what to call it, character moment. I don't know what to call it, but Maeve stole the show for me.
she
Marvin's still
killed
my
it.
favorite character of the whole series, and I think you said yours is Butcher, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who was your favorite character so far? Huey? I can't remember.
Are you serious right
Who
now?
was yours? I couldn't remember.
The deep.
The
No, I'm just
D.
messing
Oh,
with
I
you.
was about to say. I
No.
was like, was it the D? I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, what? I was like,
No,
okay,
it
okay, that's fine.
it was
Who
Termite Man.
uh, was that when he exited the penis or
Oh, Innard for sure.
entered? Oh yeah, yeah. It is a butthole. No, that is a urethra. No, but seriously, I completely forgot who your favorite character was.
Oh,
I
I can't
completely
even
don't.
remember right now. They're all my favorite right
Oh, they're
now.
all so
Oh,
good.
it's great.
But Marvin, it just back to what we're saying is Marvin's still my favorite character of the series, and he did. My God, they're saving him up for something. I'm not saying what he has been doing hasn't been special because it has, but they're obviously setting him up for something even greater than what he has been. I would say in season 4, but this episode, Maeve, for me, I'm team Maeve right now. She every time we've seen her this season, we've gotten little sprinkles of her here and there, and I thought, man, I want to see more of her. I want to see more. Oh, there she is. Yep, she's gone again. God, I want to see more of Maeve, right? Because I like that actress. I think she does exceptionally well. And then we went an episode. She got captured or held hostage by Homelander. We don't see her for the whole Herogasm episode, which was great in and of itself. And then we see her again in the cage in that cell. She's like, Homelander, is that eyeshadow or whatever it was, or concealer? Is that
Oh yeah.
concealer? Like, and you're just like, oh my God. Like, and then when that episode ended, you're like, dude, what's going to happen with the finale? You and me kind of theorized on, is Maeve going to die? I can't even remember what our predictions were with that and our percentages, but obviously not dead. That had me fooled. I thought she died. I thought she went out like a boss. And you know what? I would have been totally okay with that. That was a heroic death because that yearned back to what she was saying to Starlight early in the episode, where she's like, I thought you were a hero. She's like,
Hmm.
there ain't none, honey, or whatever she said.
Yeah.
And when she jumped out of that window with Soldier Boy, I was like, such a boss. And then to realize that she's still alive is like, wait, what? So
But you didn't know what was going to happen in that moment either
no,
way, because he
that's true.
turned to, because I mean,
Right.
we thought that Starlight was going to die, and
We
all
did.
this other stuff, and you're just like, oh my God, which one? Who's gonna get it?
Oh,
Who's
they
gonna get
did.
it?
I'm glad you brought that up because several times through this episode, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know if Homelander was done, Butcher was done, Huey, um, uh, I knew Kamiko was pretty safe. I mean, you and me kind of had our thoughts on Kamiko, but my theory was obviously wrong. I thought Soldier Boy was going to be defeated, and then Kamiko was going to be the one to kill Homelander.
Hmm.
And we'll talk about Homelander in the future with him here in just a second and that amazing fight. But
Yeah.
with Kamiko, I was like, I didn't really feel like there was any, you know, I didn't feel like she was at risk of dying. I thought
Oh
that
no!
character
As
was
soon
very
as they
safe.
put Maniac on, I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're like, no,
she's about to
she's about to wreck
kill
shop.
this, Holmes.
And I
Yeah.
love how
Yeah.
Frenchie's like, he's like, just shut your hole, Frenchie. He's like, no, I will not shut my
Not
hole,
shut
my
my
pie
hole.
hole, or what?
Yeah. He said, my pie
Yeah.
hole will stay open.
Open. He's But
And then he does
Frenchie,
this. He
yeah.
does this like,
Mm.
and he was over there like hey, we heard you.
It's okay.
Like we
Chill,
heard you.
chill. Hang on, my girlfriend's in the room. Like, chill, bro. Chill. My girlfriend's on this app. And then Kimiko, I did a quick like as he was talking, I did a quick look at Kimiko. I don't know if you noticed, but if you go and look at that scene and look at Kimiko, she's just smiling. Like,
Smiling. Yep.
oh,
Mhm.
I like thank God Frenchie's speaking up for himself, and I thought that was fun. They gave every character had just the amount of needed
Screen time.
exploration and screen time. Thank you. They had all the characters, every character, even that stupid sob of a stepdad,
Oh my
Marvin's
god. Oh my god.
ex-wife's husband. Oh my god, which we'll talk about here in just. I want to save that for the
Well,
very, very, very
yeah,
last.
we're gonna save that for the last.
Speaking of Soldier Boy, I mentioned him a while ago. Fighting Maeve. Let's talk Soldier Boy, dude. Holy cow, that fight, Jensen Ackles. We were wrong. I believe I was 50-50
Oh
with him
yeah,
dying.
yeah,
He's obviously
we were
alive.
wrong.
Totally wrong. They're obviously setting him up for something more. Eric Kripke, who was the showrunner for Supernatural with Jensen Ackles. It wouldn't have surprised me if they kept him alive, and here we are. So yeah, he's definitely going to be, but what's going to happen after,
But he's
is
so
he
good though.
is
He's so
so good.
good.
So good.
And that I mean, from it was just real. It honestly, it's brilliant writing
It
because
was.
whenever he's sitting here and he's talking to Butcher about what his dad said to him, blah blah blah, blah,
Hmm.
dude. As soon as they got in the room, and Homelander's like, hey, like you like anyway, he got number one. He was mad because Homelander killed Black Noir because he
Correct.
wanted to. That's
So
the number one thing that I
yeah,
think he
yeah,
was the first thing he got upset about.
right.
Second is he came and he put Butcher, or what's his name, Ryan, brought him in and basically like paraded him in front of him and said, "This is your grandson. You have us. You have family."
Yep.
And he was like, "Oh, I wish I'd been here." Blah 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 blah. You
I
know,
love that
but
line.
bro, where
Oh my God.
where I could have brought you up to where you weren't so weak, and then the brilliance
The
of the writing where
amazing
Homelander looks at him and he goes, "Weak, I'm you," and he goes, "Exactly, you're a disappointment." And I was like, "Oh my god,
the
that's great."
the back and forth between and the chemistry. We now have had enough screen time where they have, I mean, it feels like these two have been acting off each other for years. Yeah, I mean it has.
Oh, dude. And then
Oh
sorry, just one more
no,
thing.
yeah,
Whenever
yeah.
he's saying his speech
Yeah.
and the screen and the cinematography of it, like where they shift
Oh
to
yeah.
where you can see Butcher's face
Yep.
and he's just got his smirk
Like
on, like, oh,
he's like, oh, you're about to
he's on our
go.
side. Yeah,
Yep.
he's on our side.
And then it
And
switches perspectives
oh
and
my god, and then it's so
yeah.
great because after that they hold him, they do all that, and then Ryan's like, no, 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 and then he hits Soldier Boy, and then Soldier Boy comes back and hits him with his shield,
Dude.
and number one that pisses Butcher
But he
off.
knew, he was like, okay, this kid's got super strength. He's going to be fine. I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure I'm sure he's done some horrible things, but he knew like right away, kind of likened to when Captain America was fighting Spider-Man in Civil War. When Spider-Man was taking him on in a hand-to-hand combat, holding Cap back, Spider-Man was holding him back at the airport battle. The Cap knew, he immediately knew he wasn't trying to hurt Peter. He was trying to stop him. And
Yeah,
when he threw his shield and hit that thing, he knew. He was like, "Oh, this kid can hold me back. Oh, he can hold that semi trailer." And then that's why he hit it, because he knew he could hold it. I think that was the same thing to what Soldier Boy was doing to Ryan. I think, yeah, he aggravated him because he hurt him, but he was like, "Okay, yeah, this kid's got super strength." So he's like, "Bah," like staying in
yeah,
it.
and he was like, this little
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
and then you know what I
that was
mean,
fun.
like,
Yeah,
oh, dude, it was great. But then for the switch from whenever it switches and you see Butcher, you know, do what he did, and
yeah.
then he's like, what, like, what are you talking? He's like, not the kid. He's like, not the kid,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, well, why do you, like, you have everything you want right there, and he's like, it's my wife's son, and he was like, wait a minute, You
Yeah.
let Homelander
It's like,
fuck your wife,
hold on.
and now he was like, and now you don't want to, you don't want to get rid of the brat. And he's like, I made a promise.
Mm,
And what I don't know is if like, and I know they're playing off of it because I think that they want Ryan not to choose. You know what I mean? Like not to understand the butcher is trying to stick up for him.
right.
Because he's still upset about everything that happened. I
He
get it.
is.
I get it. He's a kid,
Yeah.
but kids don't understand. And we have to realize that. As parents, we have to realize that
Yeah.
as adults, it's like you just want to shake them, but it's like it's good writing. Whenever it's like that, it's good writing.
Mhm.
Whenever he does that, and then he starts laser in his eyes, but just as well, Homelander is mad, and they look at each other, and they're just like,
Dude, that
I was
look that
like,
they gave each other, I'm like, they're about to team up. And
this is baller. Like this
oh
is
my
pretty
God.
sweet. And then Maeve, God love Maeve. She's like,
She held
she's
her
like,
own.
yeah, and she
She
held
held
her
her
own,
own. Yeah.
but Homelander's like, hey, not now. We have bigger fish. And
He's
she's
like,
like,
stop.
I don't. And it's like, Maeve, just for once, bitch, just shut up. Like, just like let this happen. But she
Mhm.
didn't. I get it.
Right.
And it was for a purpose. And I get all that too. And then you gotta there's another storyline all in that fight whenever, you know,
Yeah.
Starlight gets thrown up against the wall and Huey's in there making the announcement that things are not going right. And then you got him because whenever they left Butcher's house after all that,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? He found the
Oh, the TMV.
the tent V,
Yeah.
and you see him look at it, and then
I thought he took
he
it.
thinks I thought it was great. I thought it was
Oh yeah.
great acting whenever
Really.
he looked at it, and then he's like, no, I made a promise to her, and then he starts pushing all the lights up, and I was like, oh, this is great. And then you see her like lift up and then hit it. Oh, it was
But
so
with
good.
and her watching her go full like Goku mode was great. But
Yeah,
where or the Kamehameha or however they say it, I'm not a dragon head, I don't know. But
yeah. I don't know. I don't
that
know anything.
a couple episodes ago, do you remember? I think it was Hero Gasm where she's like, I don't need you to save me. I just need
Mhm.
you to be you. When he looked at that vial, I think that's what was playing in his head was,
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't need to save her. I need to be me and do this without hurting myself because like there was so much depth there. There was so much three-dimensional looking at you MCU. There was so much three-dimensional elements with these characters and it was like every single character had just enough like you said earlier
Oh,
screen time. Sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. One
No,
more
no, no,
thing.
you're good.
So we're talking about that fight still,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
that happened with Starlight. But before that, when they break the shield, bro, and
That was
Mother's
great.
Milk and He's looking, he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, bitch,
Yeah.
like,
My
yeah,
wife
he's like,
laughed
oh god, it
hysterically.
was so great.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, man, like I was just like, yeah, get pumped, son, because he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, bitch, fuck that shield.
It's like, yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
No,
you
no,
can edit
complete.
that out.
I
But I mean, it
no,
is
no,
what
you're
it
fine.
is. But I was just like, I was so hyped. I
So
was just like,
fun.
yeah, dude, because he's looking at him like, yeah, like I can't do it, but they can. You know
Yeah,
what I
they
mean?
can.
So,
Yeah,
um,
with Marvel was great. And I think I said earlier, I don't know how I forgot to talk about this, but as great as the fight was, as great as everything was, which it was. I mean, everything in this episode was great. Every scene, every shot, every from the start, like when the episode started, it's just like boom, we're not wasting any time. Boom, here we are. Here's the address that Victoria, I think it's Victoria, I forgot her name.
yep. Mhm.
Gave Homelander. It was obviously an address, and then you see Ryan, and you're like,
Oh no, it's
mother
Grace. Her name's Grace.
Grace, sorry.
Grace.
Where he meets Grace to get Ryan, and you're just like, mother, you know what I mean? And it's just like, gum, dude. And then when he goes and gets or talks to Ryan, and Ryan hugs him, and he talks to Grace, and he's like, don't move your fingers. I can hear you fiddling around. Just stop. Right?
Yeah,
Like
he was
I
like,
don't want to
throw the
hurt you.
phone.
Just throw the phone. That when that episode opened, I was like, we're in for a treat with this episode. They ain't gonna waste no time. As soon as this episode started, I was like, "Yep, here we go." And then it just went on from there. I think I had already said it. I don't know if I said these words, but at least one of my favorite moments, I might have said it. My favorite moment in the episode was where Huey was talking to Starlight about his dad. The best acted moment, which there were a lot of great moments in this episode. I'm not undermining those, but I would. Oh, this would be tomfoolery to not mention this, but Soldier Boy talking about his dad and what he thought of him, and when he said, I volunteered for those experiments because I wanted to be that man that my dad wanted me to be, basically is what he's saying. And he's like, and when Butcher's like, well, what do you think about that? And he's like, that I took the weak way out. And then you see the camera's focused on Soldier Boy. And as he's talking, you can see his eyes start to welt up with tears. And you can feel that trembling in his
Mhm.
voice. And
And he said, "I'm a
holy,
disappointment,"
I'm a
which
disappointment.
which it came into like that's what I'm saying. It was
Exactly, and
so
it
great,
all came full circle. And when you were talking about that, it reminded me of that scene. But when he's talking to Butcher, I'm like, this is this show is so far beyond being a comic book property. This stigma of, oh, it's comic book, it's for kids, it's for low life idiot YouTubers that like to talk about this on the weekdays. No, this show is freaking awesome, and I don't care who you are. And it's all subjective. You may watch it and be like, "Hey, don't work for me," and that's completely fine. But do not say that comic book properties are meant for children and adolescent teenagers. I'm tired of that excuse. This episode of The Boy, I'm not saying just this episode, but The Boys in general is one of the many reasons that show this is for adults. Like, this is some heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. And
bro.
whether in that moment where Soldier Boy, just going back to that, how he's talking about his dad, and when Butcher's like, well, what do you think of that? And then he's like, he told me I took the weak way out, or sissy way, however he said it. And I'm just like, I looked at my wife and I went, my God. Um, you
He said
could
he took a
hear,
shortcut.
took a shortcut. Thank you. It was a shortcut. And you can hear the trembling, the way Jensen Ackles played that. I was like, dude, I'm an official, like, Stan. Is that what the kids are calling him? I'm a
Yeah, yeah.
Stan of Jensen Ackles. I've always liked him, right? I've always thought he's a very serviceable actor, but the boys have really showed what he could do. Like I believe him, you know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
that fight, dude, the three-way fight with Starlight, Maeve, you had Homelander, Soldier Boy, Butcher, so great. Sorry.
And and like to kind of sum up the whole fight, like the boys are so great. Bro, they do it. It makes it amazes me because you sit here and you hate Homelander the entire season,
Yep.
right? You don't like
Seasons.
Homelander. And
Seasons.
then
All three.
they do this thing where you feel sympathetic for Homelander
Yeah.
because of the way that he's treating Ryan, because you're like, he really loves this kid and wants and is treating him correctly. And it's in a weird way, but he is
It's a
treating him
sick twist away, and even how he's wanting to treat Soldier
correctly.
Boy, because he's like, I want you to meet your grandson. And then
Correct.
even when he, like, you could even, like, Anthony Starr, another fantastic acting moment for him in this episode, how when he is Soldier Boy basically telling him to F off. But when Homelander, you could see Anthony, the actor Anthony Starr, you can see even him trembling and being like, and he looked disappointed and really heartbroken, because he's like, why would you say that to me? Like, it was
Right.
that moment. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I felt it, and I felt bad for him because he's sitting there pleading with
But that's my
his
point.
dad. Yeah,
That's my point.
exactly.
You
It's that
don't you
depth.
feel for it, and like you feel
Yeah.
for this character that you've not liked the entire season, and you feel for him and you're like, man, he's really treating this kid the right way. No wonder that Ryan wants to go with him at the very end. Whenever
Right.
everything's over, they've Maeve and him have went out the window. It's all done. They've gassed him, all that stuff. We all know about that, and everything was great, and then it
Right.
all comes full circle. But whenever you're talking about at the very end, whenever they are sitting there and um Ryan basically, because he's looking at Butcher and he's like, I'm, now it's your turn. I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, Ryan's like, Dad, I want to leave. Like, Dad, let's leave. You know for a fact that he's looking at him and he's like, he's the only reason you're living right now.
Dude.
And then he walks out and they just walk out casually.
Because Butcher knows, and Butcher, he's wanting to do everything to keep him safe. And I think Ryan's going to be kind of the MacGuffin for next season. I could be wrong.
Oh,
I mean,
let's just go into
sure.
where we come in, and everything's coming to a close at the very end of the end of the thing,
Yeah.
and then you see, um, I mean, we can go to because I want to talk about that Homelander scene at the very very
Oh, the
last of this thing,
tail end.
the very
Yeah.
very very last of this.
Yeah.
So we see that Maeve's alive, which I thought was great. They
Very
do
well
all that
done.
thing, and then
Yeah.
you see Ashley delete the video of her. And then she looks at that girl like, "Don't
Like,
say nothing, bitch.
do
Like, don't
not.
say nothing."
Yeah.
And then you go through that. Starlight, I thought that was a really good scene between
Yeah.
those two.
I did too.
It was good. It was quick, easy, boom, out of the way, cool.
Yeah.
Then you see Starlight throwing her stuff away and saying, whatever it is, and Frenchie's like, he's like, Butcher could suck my ass, you know what I'm saying? And then he's just like, this is a democracy from
Yeah.
here on out.
Yeah.
And I say you're one of the boys. I think that's one of the first time I've heard the boys on the boys.
The boys. I think I want to say I heard it maybe somebody else like, hey, you and the boys. Like, I think it was very
Yeah,
subtle, but they
but
really enunciated
I mean,
the
on like
boys.
as
Yeah.
an ensemble, that's the first time I think
Right.
I've
Right.
heard it used that way, and
I
it was
agree.
great coming from Frenchie and him saying, I vote you, and then Kamiko's like two, and then all of them, and then you just see, you see Butcher standing
Oh,
there,
yeah. Sipping
and
his
then
juice.
he's like, they all look at the screen, and then they turn it on, they figure out the girl who pops heads is about to be the vice
Now the
president.
vice president. Yeah. Because Deep
And
took
what
him
a
out.
great line to
Yeah.
end on.
Yeah.
Is Butcher saying, "Well," he's like, "That bitch has got to go." Like, I was like, "Yeah, bro." Like, that's
So it's
great.
another target, and it just, oh my, I don't know where to begin. Obviously, we love the season. I don't know if you could tell,
Oh,
but
like a
I don't,
9.5 out of 10 on me. Like, done.
dude. I'm gonna say it. This has been one of the best seasons of television I have ever seen. Ask me again in a few weeks. Let it marinate. I just seen the episode yesterday. I'm way late on it. Yes, I know. But my God, it's got to be up there as one of the best seasons any TV show has ever done. I mean, it's that good, and
It is that
I'm
good.
not saying just because it's a comic book property, but because the dramatic elements. But as we come to a close here, let's go ahead and talk about that ending
I was
scene
about to
because
say,
it's
like,
kind of pointless
once
going
you
in. Yeah,
get,
it's kind of pointless going into what our thoughts of season 4 is because it's pointless because we have no idea, have no
yeah. And
absolute.
I don't want to
I don't know if
predict.
that
I
is.
don't want to predict what's happening in season 4 because
Let
we're
us
way
get a
wrong on this
trailer.
one.
Let us get a trailer for season 4, and then we'll
Yeah.
talk about it from there. But no, loved it. Let's go ahead and talk about that last scene because I think there's a lot in that reflecting our
By
political
far.
landscape today. And there was, I mean, I looked at my wife. We looked at each other. We're like, that's scary because there's a
Yeah.
lot of reminiscent. It doesn't matter which side you're on. There's a lot of you can't deny that. Doesn't matter which side of the
Well,
pole
I
you're on.
mean, they end it with Butcher saying that,
Right.
and then they go straight into this rally.
Right.
And there's so much of that happening right now with everything going on in the world. You're right. Roe versus Wade, all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of that happening.
A lot of
You
it.
know what I mean?
Scary.
A lot of it. And it's
Yeah.
scary. And then just to see the brilliant Anthony Starr again,
Brilliant.
just brilliant, coming down, saying, "Hey guys, you are the true Americans," blah blah blah. But even before he
Thank you
comes
for having
down,
my
the
side.
guy going to the media and throwing the media person down and saying, "I'm tired of your lies," or whatever. Like, that happens all the time.
All the time.
So, for him to come down and just be floating down, sit down and say, "You're the true Americans," blah blah blah. And I was like, I was just like, because I watch it by myself. My wife don't watch it. It is what it is. So I was just like, I bet he's going to introduce Ryan. He's like, "You guys want to see somebody who's, blah, blah, blah." And, then you see, and we
Like,
didn't
to
even
be
know
someone.
Ryan could fly like that. You didn't
No.
know, I didn't know he had control of his powers like that.
No.
So then he just comes down too. And I was like, oh, let's see how this goes,
And then
and then,
stupid. Yeah.
bro, I mean, I want to hear your thoughts on what happened after he comes and introduces him and everything that happened after
So
that.
when he introduced Ryan, the only thing that was running through my head is what in the actual F? Because
Yeah, bro.
what is worse than one Homelander? Two. And it's hard enough facing the one we already have. And now you have his actual biological offspring who is keep in mind. I don't think we've mentioned this season yet in our videos. Homelander tickled Stormbreaker. God. He tickled different universe. He tickled Stormfront using his laser eyes. Remind you who fried her worse than a 4th of July marshmallow over a campfire. It was Ryan. So you can argue, oh, Homelander didn't want to hurt Stormfront. Really? He can control the temperature of his eye beams. I doubt it's that intricate. Ryan fried her to a crisp. Do not tell me
Mhm.
that Ryan doesn't have the potential to be more powerful than Homelander.
And now,
It's
and now he's
frightening.
seeing no, and see now, once that happened, once he like laser beamed that dude, and like
I was like,
like her stupid ex or her stupid
yeah.
boyfriend's like, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
and then
God.
you just see Anthony Starr and his face is like, oh, I can do whatever I want,
Whatever.
and these people are gonna
And
eat it
he's
up,
always said that. I'm
bro.
Homelander. I can do what the crap I want. He's always said that.
But now he knows that it's gonna be accepted by a certain amount of
Yeah.
people, and he
And
just see him
he's
go.
gonna feed off of that.
But
Yeah.
the brilliance of this whole
This
thing is
that one
whenever
right
they
there.
pan. Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
bro. But whenever they pan down to Ryan's face,
Yeah.
and you just see him start to barely smirk,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh no,
Oh,
oh
it's terrible.
no.
Yeah.
Like you don't need this kid. Like you don't need to learn that you
No.
can do whatever you want.
That look on Homelander, the way Anthony Starr beautifully plays his character. Love Anthony Starr. I think he's a fantastic human being. Um, very talented individual. The way he plays this role, like you said earlier, you I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The way he's able to play this role, you're not only do you hate not only do you find ways and surprise yourself by going, there ain't no way they can make him even worse. And then he goes and does what he does in season 1. There ain't no way you can make Homelander worse. Then we see him in season 2 by dating a Nazi. There ain't no way he can be worse than that. They do season 3. There ain't no worse he can do than that. And then he talks with Maeve and he's like, no, I'm either going to kill you
Or I'm gonna
or
harvest
I'm
your
going to
eggs.
I'm going to haunt you even while you're dead. And you're like, what? But you so intricately put it earlier, they're also able to find ways for you to sympathize with him. You're able, that's that
It's nuts, man.
three-dimensional stuff I'm talking about. And going to that scene, like you asked me a while ago, what do you think? I don't know. I'm terrified. I'm honestly terrified for the future of the boys.
No, it's
Not
nuts.
in a, oh my God, I think it's gonna suck. Season 4 is gonna suck. No, I'm saying there's so many things that they could go. It's pointless to do a prediction video at this point. Let us get a
Mhm.
trailer. Let us get an idea about what the story is. This season was very clear. The first 2 seasons were they were fantastic, but they were what they were. This season was more of a you know, Soldier Boy's the MacGuffin. He's who we're kind of after. So seeing him, we're going to see him again, maybe in season 4. So we'll just have to see where that goes. But man, final thoughts on the season. What do you think?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head as well. Dude, this season, absolutely amazing. Like I said, I I said 9.5 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10 for me. This is one of the best shows I've ever watched, period. And
Absolutely.
I love The Office. Love The Office. Because I thought it was brilliant. It was brilliantly written. I love the British version,
It was.
American version. I dude,
It's
best
fine.
show I've ever watched. Best show, best season I've ever watched of anything.
Was this
Best
season?
season. Oh yeah. Best
Really?
season I've ever watched.
I,
Like of a TV show.
Right.
You know what
I
I'm
need
saying?
it to marinate a little more. I will say this.
Um,
You know how much I whack blah, blah, blah.
oh, you can
You
edit
know
that out,
I
homie.
can
I
edit.
want to
Well,
know how
I'm
much you
nope.
wag off.
I'm gonna leave it in there. You
You.
know how much I love WandaVision and how much I adore it, love it to the
Mhm,
T. This single season of The Boys is better than WandaVision.
mhm.
It's so good, and I think WandaVision is near perfection.
Bro,
This is
I've
even
told
better, you know?
I've told everybody. I was like, The Boys is the best thing streaming right now.
Best
Period.
thing. Now, I haven't seen Stranger Things, so I can't say, but a lot of people are loving it. But I'm hearing a lot of people love. Dude, I got two people watching The Boys. They're like, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot." They watched the first episode and they're like, "I'm already through season two." It's like,
Bro,
you know,
I
no
told
kidding.
you. I told you my buddy.
Yeah,
My buddy, you were talking earlier about, like if you're not watching it, you need to, but like this is an adult show. Okay, so my buddy is a police officer for Clover, South Carolina.
right.
I straight up told him, I was like, hey man, you really need to check this out. And he's like, like, what's it on? And I was like, he's like, yeah, I pulled it up. I just didn't know. I was like,
Not for everybody.
okay. I said, bro, I was like, I want you to watch the first episode. That's all you got to watch. And I was like, within the first
That's it.
5 minutes, I was like, text me your thoughts. And he texts me, he goes, WTF, what did I just watch? This
Yeah,
show is amazing. And I said, okay. I was like, this is the first
incredible.
episode. He texts me today and says, he was like, I'm on the third episode of the last season of the third season.
Season three. Dude, I just real quick, I can very quickly be reminded. I sat down to watch the very first episode of The Boys. I think the season hadn't finished yet, but I was a couple episodes behind, and I'm like, I'm hearing a lot of good things from people that I trust and my little film circles and stuff like that. I'm hearing a lot of people really praise The Boys because I know it. A show on Amazon Prime, how good could it be? Pshaw, right? How good could it be? And I'm like, fine. I got my Twizzlers, got my Monster. I sat down. I was by myself, living by myself at the time. I was like, sure, give me The Boys. Let's see what we got. And the first 5 minutes of that episode, I literally spit out my Monster and was like, what? Like, I had an idea what the comics were, but I had no idea how grotesque, how vulgar, how adult oriented it was. And my God, Doug, I can't wait for season four. I am literally counting the days for season
Mhm.
four. I'm not expecting Varsity, the spinoff show they got going on. I'm not expecting that to be just as good as The Boys. I want to go in because it's its own thing. So you never know. Let's just take it for what it is. Nobody knew, let's be honest, nobody knew who Anthony Starr was before The Boys. I think one of the guys in Varsity, I talked about him on TikTok. I think it's Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. I don't know if he can act worth a crap. I have no idea. But I'm gonna watch it because it's a spinoff of The Boys that takes place in that universe. So obviously we're gonna watch it. So anyway, that being said, you heard our thoughts on The Boys. Wes, just real quick, where can people find you, my friend?
All right. They can find me at West Rathbone 86 on Twitter. Guys, thank you very much. Please like, comment, share, do all that good stuff. We love doing this. Sorry it's been a minute. Like I said, personal things come up. We want to try to get back on track for you guys. So, and try to get things out sooner. So, Gabe, let them know where they can find you, and then we will be out.
All right. Like I said, we really enjoyed you guys joining us on this journey. We've having a lot of fun doing this. We appreciate it. You can find me simply at Voice of Film. Just search for me there. TikTok and Twitter for daily entertainment stuff. Similar how we do here. Here we're just, like I said, two best friends getting together, talking about the things we love and movies, streaming, entertainment news, and all that goodness. It's been fun. I really enjoyed this with the boys. If y'all have been watching these videos that we've been doing, please drop a like, comment, share, do all that sorts of stuff. You know what to do. Hit that red button. And Wes, we're going to go ahead and sign off there, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you so much. And we will see y'all in the next video.